And, this is probably a good time for me to go ahead to this article that I have that talks along those lines. And it's kind of an unlikely source. But bear with me because it gets to the heart of the matter. And I will say this is pretty much my view on the whole thing. Now, this is from henrymccow.com. And the title is, What is Behind China's Empty Cities? And I hope you guys will kind of stick with me on this and read it for yourself and think about this some, because I really do think that this is kind of the heart of the matter from what I read about it. It's a great story. So I'm going to go ahead and just read this whole thing. It's pretty short, but it explains what I think is actually going on. It says, what is behind China's empty cities? And this is written by Christopher Neil Wyatt for henrymccow.com. It says, your reader Dan wrote, there is long-term planning behind these vacant cities which is undisclosed. And I would say, first thing, I didn't even know about these cities. I don't know if you guys knew about it, but evidently China's got these cities that they've built kind of in no man's land, and there's nobody there. And I mean, it's a real metropolis. So how the hell are you going to spend all this money on a city and there ain't no people there? Well, it goes on. The guy says, I couldn't agree more. The Chinese government is clearly not stupid. Regardless, this begs the question, what is their plan and why? Bringing Manhattan to Mongolia? It is not really an ideal location to build a metropolis, at least not yet. There is no seaport for hundreds of miles, and even the fastest bullet trains, which aren't built yet, will take hours to arrive there from almost any other major Chinese city. Now, that's something to think about. Okay, I just saw something here. So, you think about that for a second. It doesn't make sense that they would spend all of this money and time and energy and stuff on building these cities if there's nobody there. And then, it's even when you get the fastest bullet train, it's going to take hours to get there. It doesn't make sense. Well, you keep reading, and it says, back in 2005, the Financial Times published excerpts, and there's a link for it where you can check it out, from an interview with Chinese General Zhu Qinggu, who stated that, and this is a quote, we will prepare ourselves for the destruction of all cities east of Zan. Then it says Zan is located in central China, perhaps halfway between the Chinese coast and Mongolia. Virtually every major Chinese city currently exists east of Zan, where all the destruction is supposed to occur, including the capital, Beijing, and its largest city, Shanghai. If all of these cities were to be destroyed, hundreds of millions of Chinese refugees would need a new place to live, and these new, built-from-scratch cities might be just what is needed. This, I just thought this was a great article. I didn't even know about these cities, but the analysis here is just spot on to me, and it fits into kind of my opinion about what's going on with this cabal and everything. They go on to say, back in 2005, everybody assumed that General Zhu was discussing the possibility of nuclear war with the West, wiping out the entire Chinese coast. But could there be another possibility? I recently began studying the subject of future Earth changes, which some people believe are shortly to befall our planet. Edgar Cayce famously made such predictions. And you guys probably know who Edgar Cayce is, the guy who, he made predictions, but I guess he was one of these guys that's supposed to be have this special skill or something. He can see into the future or whatever. He's famous for making predictions, and I guess a good number of them came true. He goes on to say, some claim these changes will be brought by the comet Elenin, which will make its closest approach to Earth this September through November. And then there's a link. Here's a link to a map created by Gordon Michael Scallion, which shows one possible end result of these Earth changes. Now, this whole part right here, going forward, this is what I'm talking about. And when I said that it goes close to my belief, my own opinion on where things stand, I really do think that this is close to what the reality is. Again, my opinion. We all got opinions, right? You know what they say about opinions. But anyway, it says, so this map by Edward Scallion, which shows one possible end result of these Earth changes. Some people will claim that such Earth changes are simply not possible, or that at any rate, such geological processes take eons, so we have nothing to worry about. I used to be of this view, but began changing my mind when I learned of the aftermath of the recent Japanese earthquake and or nuclear attack on 3/11/11, after which the entire region has begun sinking into the ocean. And he has a link there. Now, I haven't heard this, that the entire region has begun sinking into the ocean. And I didn't check into it anymore. I don't know if anybody else has heard this, but he gives a link, so you can check it out there. He says, could this be the beginning of the type of Earth changes which Case, Scallion, and others have foreseen? And then he says, here's what I think. And I'm just telling you, this is close to what I think, too. He says, the Illuminati know that Earth changes are going to happen sooner or later. These changes might be caused by comets or something else entirely. With the kind of technology these perps have access to, including remote viewing, scalar electromagnets, etc., I'm certain they have far more detailed information than we could ever imagine. I believe they are attempting to hasten these Earth changes with the use of their HAARP scalar technology, so that they can more precisely control the timing and extent of these changes to better suit their agenda. And